Okay, earlier this year I posted my Boba Fett build, and this is the helmet. I've got part of it disassembled. I had to make a little repair because I have a little stabilizer pin in here, and then I'm gonna reprint this piece and this piece, and I'm gonna cut them a little bit in the slicer. Because I need a little more space for the electronics that go inside the rangefinder. But for right now, that's that. But I wanted to show you the progress I've been making on the rest of the Boba Fett, plus some of my family's Mandalorian. So you can see here we have the collar, the front collar piece. It has been. This is just I had to make a repair here. I accidentally broke it pulling the supports off. They were on there harder than I intended, and it was weak apparently right there. So I welded it back together using my some spare PET G and my 3D printing pen, and then to reinforce it I used Mando just in this area. But the rest of the places I've taken to start using, unless I need something structural, this modeling paste to kind of smooth out layer lines and stuff. I had some issues with, I'm still struggling with getting PET G, and I printed this too flat to the build plate, so we got a lot of imperfections where things warped as they cooled and the layers ended up not adhering as well as they should have. Because of that. And I had that problem with this piece, and this piece as well. So they've got a lot that I've done to lower them. This is in preparation for a resin coat, which I'll then sand with some fine grit sandpaper and my orbital sander, and then we'll prime them with a filler primer, which I'll then sand with an even finer grit sandpaper so we can get a really clean look. But along with this piece, I purchased on Etsy this authentic recreation of the LED display that goes underneath there. My old cosplay I made out of foam, and I just took one particular image, cut it down, and covered it with a lot of. I covered it with an epoxy resin, a nice clear epoxy resin, but it was just printed on my printer. So I think it was not that one. It's either this one. I had this where it displays that one, and then one of the a representation of the upper LEDs as well, and then I just glued them to the back of that. This will take some, because this takes up some space. There will need to be some foam padding on here before I add the Velcro. But I also did new toque spikes. When I did this before, I made these out of dowels and then carved them with the Dremel, and then put them on an actual piece of thin steel and glued them onto the boots I made, which I wasn't happy with, so I bought these from a cosplay store. But I have not done anything yet with the shoulders and the knees, and there's the back. That one I have some layer line issues, and I used the modeling paste for that and then sanded it. But I also ended up, the print failed right here. You can see where I've had to weld this back together, and then I've used Mando. I tried to reprint just the top above what failed, because so much of this was done, and misjudged, cut that down. But I got a close enough that after I cut it, I welded it together with the 3D pen and some spare PET G, and then sanded, and then it's got Bondo in it to to really help reinforce that seam. And once I resin print it and all, resin coat it and all that, it will, I'll be able to hide all of that and it will look great. I also widened those holes from the original design because of the way I want to attach my jetpack, which those who are purists won't like, but I don't care because I want to be able to take it off easy. Anyway, this is a Night Owl helmet. I had some little layer shifts in a few spots, but this will be fine. It printed fine. This is going to be for my son, and he's going to be more of a heavy trooper. All the family's helmets are going to be Night Owl. Eventually, once I'm done with Boba Fett, I'm also going to go back and make a Night Owl version for myself. And we're going to have some similar colors. Everybody will have some purple in their design, but everybody will be a little different. This is kind of a heavy look. But my other son, we want this same thing, but this is so tall. We want it for our heavy trooper, and we're going to use Paz Vizsla armor. He's got the files. He purchased the files off Etsy for that. And so if you've seen The Mandalorian, he's that heavy artillery guy. He dies in the final battle of the Mandalorian series. But he fights Din Djarin at one point for the Darksaber. And he's got that big gun. We'll have to print all that. This is for my wife. It's the female elite helmet, and I don't have them here. I forgot to grab them. But it's got these two cool antenna things that go on, that match, that go on both sides. This is the respirator I got for the UV resin. This is a failed print of one of Boba Fett's shin tools. This is an authentic recreation of what the actual prop was that was in there. This is a recreation of the Dawn Post. It's the rangefinder security tool. I am printing the other one too, but I'm going to have both the official props like this, the agitator, and Dawn Post reimagined the agitator as a survival knife. And there's so many pockets. I'm going to have all of those. Knee darts, the rocket for the left gauntlet, which I'm also printing. This also is the keypad for the left printing. I want to let this get this paint one more night to cure and do one more sand on it because it's more rough than I want it. Actually, I'm going to file it with a fine file in between all of those and get it nice and smooth, and then do one more coat. But those of you who know, that was originally a piece of a Casio calculator from...
Someone was detected at your doorbell.
Hello? Come in. And this is the... Sorry, my son just came home. This is the Diamante symbol that goes in between the armor. And that's it. That's how far I've gotten so far. And I'm printing right now the right gauntlet pieces, including the flamethrower from Return of the Jedi. If you notice, that's what I'm doing. And I'm losing my voice. So that's it. Thanks.